Hey everybody, so essays were a very large part of my high school career, no matter the subject. We had to do essays for English, whatever second language we had, and other subjects like history, geography, and so on. My problem though is that I can't recall anyone actually telling me how to go about this properly. I mean, by the time I hit matric English, my teacher just pretty much figured that if we don't know what we're doing by now, there's not a whole lot he can do to help us, okay? It was only when I was in my late 20s, early 30s that I was introduced through a varsity course on how to properly look at a piece that I needed to research and how to read that piece with comprehension to arrive at the information necessary to write the essay. Now, this particular method is not new. I mean, a quick Google search told me that it was first introduced by a guy called Francis Robinson, an American educator, in his 1946 book, Effective Study. I have a copy of that book now, and it's great. I highly recommend it. But allow me to break down his method. This particular method I've used to great effect, and I wish I had this information when I was in high school. What it does in a nutshell, okay, is it offers a more efficient and active approach to reading textbook material, sifting through the rubbish and arriving at the information that you need to create the essay. This method is called the SQ3R method, and those stand for survey, question, read, recite, and review. Let's have a look at each component. The first step of the SQ3R method is survey. Survey the chapter. Look at the layout. Get an idea for how it is constructed. Skim the chapter. Observe the titles, the subtitles. Look at any graphics if there are any. And just make a mental note of the layout. Because what this does is it gives you an idea of what the author considers important in the chapter or in the section, and it will give you a mental framework of the reading assignment. Secondly, question. Question. What are the questions that you've been asked for the essay assignment, and which sections, which portions of the chapter best answer or even begin to answer those questions? Write down any questions of your own or even keywords that best answer the original questions. Remember that at this point, you are still only surveying and you haven't actually begun to read yet anything in depth in this chapter. Now though, and thirdly, it is time to read. Start at the beginning, read the whole chapter or section. And as you do so, note down any keywords or highlight or underline, if you are able to in that particular textbook or resource, anything that pertains directly to the questions that you've noted down. You see, sometimes things make perfect sense when you're reading it, but they might not make as much sense later on. The questions that you've been asked or you're asking yourself, and the highlighting or writing down of keywords in the text will better reinforce the answers, okay, to those questions and help with your overall understanding of the material. You may also find, and you probably will find, that the question or keywords that you've noted matches the questions in the original essay assignment. Once you've read through the material, it is now time for step 4. It is time to recite. Quiz yourself on the questions that you have noted down, the questions that have been originally asked in the assignment. Do you know the material well enough to be able to answer those questions on your own now? For auditory learners, it's a good idea to read the text aloud, to read the questions aloud, and to answer it aloud. Now, once you've done this, it is time to review the information that you have noted down. But here is the trick, okay? Here is the trick, and this is why it works as well as it does. Review the information the following day, when it is time to actually write the essay, or even the day before it is time to write that particular essay. This is important because not only will you give yourself the space to correctly compose the essay by not cramming it all into one day, but it gives your brain some space some pace to digest the information in the background while you go on to other tasks. Go back, review the questions that you have asked for yourself, that you've written down, and the keywords that you have noted. And if you can mentally answer these questions for yourself, you'll be then surprised at the amount of information that you can recall even a day later. Now, the SQ3R method is not only great for language comprehension, but is good for study as well. It splits the tasks over 2 days. You do the main chunk on the first day and you review on the following. Your brain retains information much better this way and faster. I've seen some studies which show the effectiveness of this particular method for language studies as well, but I haven't had any personal experience with that, so I can't really talk to its overall effectiveness. So, survey the material, formulate the questions you need to ask, read the material, recite it back to yourself in the form of mental questions and answers, and then check your recall of the material the next day by reviewing the information. So if you found this information useful, drop me a comment, let me know, or let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to answer, anything you'd like me to cover. And before you go, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, keep up to date with all of my tips, tricks, and tutorials. And while I put out videos for authors and for writers, for higher level stuff as well, for salespeople, for copywriters, I reserve Fridays specifically for school learners, be they mainstream or homeschoolers. So until next time, read a lot, scroll slower, and cheers.